Hello everyone. So we are continuing with the business equation, solving equations to solve business problems using equations, something like that, where we are now going to try to make some of our own equations. We just saw how to solve them, but what if we're given a word problem right here? Instead of having an equation, we just have some kinds of sentences, and so we would like to translate these sentences, these kinds of words like 1/7 and all of these kinds of things, into an equation. And so what we're dealing with here on this problem, we have that 1/7 of the employees work in the southeastern region. And so we could actually maybe make some kind of an equation. What if we had E is like maybe total number of employees, and then we can make maybe something like S can be the number of employees in the southeastern region. And so when it says that 1/7 of the employees work there, it should be that 1/7 of the total employees is how many are in the southeastern region. And so we can get an equation like this. And it says if the company employs 244 workers in that region, what is the total number of employees that there are? And so what it's talking about is 244 work in that region, so that's how much S is. That's the number of workers in the southeastern region. So we could actually just plug in 244 for S. It will go 1/7 of E equals 244. And then we can see in order to solve for E, right now it's being multiplied times 1/7. We can, here would be an interesting one where we actually have a couple of options here. We can either divide by 1/7, or you would notice that's the same thing as times 7. So whenever we have this multiplication, we can either say that the opposite is to divide by something, or we can say that the opposite is to multiply by the reciprocal of the thing. But if you remember, especially like when we're dividing fractions, multiplying times the reciprocal and dividing are actually the same thing. So, multiplying times 7 here instead of dividing by 1/7, those are actually the same thing already. So, we don't have to worry about it. But here, times 7 to me seems like the natural thing to do rather than, trying to come in here and do some kind of divided by 1/7 on both sides, dividing by 1/7. Multiplying times 7 is the same thing, but divided by 1/7 to me it just seems more complicated. So I don't want to do this one. I would like to just multiply times 7. And so 7 on top, 7 on bottom, it cancels. And so we get that E is 7 times of 244. 7 times 244. And so we could sit here and try to figure out how much that is. It's like maybe one. I'm doing it on the top of my head. I think it's 1708, but you can check this one. And so what do we have here for the next one? We are moving to a new home and we rented some kind of truck. We get a rate over here because $39.95 per day. Always, if you have this per, remember this is a rate. And so then it has also plus 76 cents per mile. That also will be kind of a rate over here. We get two different rates. You will need the truck for 5 days and will travel 460 miles. So we want to know what will be the total cost. So we can make an equation over here. The total cost, it will be, I'm going to make kind of a double little one over here, a double equation, because this t, maybe, it helps all the time to define what our actual variables are standing for. This will be the total cost that we're trying to calculate. What is the total cost? So this is going to be the actual answer that we're looking for, is how much is this t. And we have also, maybe we should make like a d, which is going to be number of days. And then we could have also maybe m can be number of miles. And so to get the cost, basically the total cost will be the daily rate, or the daily cost, and then also the cost from miles, the mileage cost. And so what we will come up with is, for the daily cost, is the cost per day times the number of days. And so that should be $39.95 times the number of days, which is D. So $39.95D. That will be the daily cost because it's the rate times the number of days. And then the cost for miles, it should be the cost per mile times the number of miles. And so it would be 76 cents, which, by the way, If we're calculating dollars over here, it should go 0.76 times the number of miles like this one. And so this will be our little formula to get this one. And then it tells us that it's 5 days, so that's a D, and 460 miles, that's M. So we could just plug that one in. It's going to go 39.95 times 5, and then plus 0.76 times 460. And so that will be the total cost over here. And then we're wondering, is $500 going to be enough for this one? Well, you'll need to calculate this value and find out. But of course, you got some different numbers than yours anyways, and so you'll need to calculate your value. Here we have, on the next one, something about a scholarship fund. And so there is a $44,000 scholarship fund being divided between the top 2 contestants so that the winner receives 3 times as much as the runner-up. And we want to find out how much will they each receive. And so we know that the amount that the top winner is going to get is 3 times as much as the runner-up. So we could actually make an equation out of that. Maybe we could say that the top winner is 3 times as much as the runner-up. And so this one is the amount for the winner, and then R is going to be the amount for the runner-up. And so we have this kind of a thing. We also know that if we add them together, the top winner and the runner-up together is supposed to equal 44,000. And so we actually end up over here with 2 equations, which makes sense because we're using 2 different variables. And always, this is a bit of a principle for us. The number of variables and the number of equations have to be the same in order to solve this kind of thing that we have here, which is basically a system. We have a system of equations. System just means, something that's together. And so system of equations because there are 2 equations. And so we need to solve the system. But notice we have something for t. We know that t, the amount for the winner, is 3 times as much as the runner-up. So that's actually what we could put here instead of t. We know that that's the same as 3 times as much as the runner-up. So we could say if you take 3 times as much as the runner-up and then add the runner-up one more time, then that should be 44,000. And then when we add 3 R's, we have 3 times of the runner-up, and we get one more time, it should become 4 times as much as runner-up, is 44,000. And since R we're solving for is times 4, we should also just do divided by 4 on both sides. And we would get, on the left side, we divide by 4, it will cancel, because we have 4R equals 44,000. Whenever we divide by 4 on both sides, it will cancel on this side. It will go R equals 44,000 divided by 4,000. It comes out nicely 11,000. So the runner-up gets 11,000. And then the winner is supposed to get 3 times as much. So we multiply times 3, we will get 33,000. And that will be the answer for this one. And so I hope that this was helpful. We will have another video for this section where we will talk about some of these problems that have to do with proportions and how we can solve those, which basically means that fractions are coming back, but not to worry. It's going to be very easy. So we will do that one, and then I hope that you will find it helpful. So thanks, guys.